Hello and welcome to Soulstone Survivors. I'm Vyv Live Gaming, but you can call me Vyv.
Hello again, I'm Moorhuhn or Moorhuhn for short.
We are two of the community speedrunners and content creators for Soulstone Survivors.
We're here once again to go over Soulstone Survivors, an action roguelite bullet heaven where you slay hordes of foes and bosses.
Along the way, you will choose from hundreds of power-ups and abilities to take on the Lords of the Void in new and exciting ways for each and every playthrough.
That said, let's jump right on it. For our first playthrough, we're going with the Barbarian. It's the first character, we're level 1, we don't really have anything. Later on we will have a blacksmith here, which has interesting stuff to give for every character, runes to change up the playstyle of every single run, a skill tree to make us stronger, which we definitely will need later, and a lot of achievements.
You can say that again. Oh yes, plenty of achievements.
So yeah, let's get on it. For now, we only have one map to go in, so we're doing that, I guess. Vyv, do you want to talk something about, like, what is this character? What are we looking at?
Sure thing. The Barbarian starts with a Whirlwind ability. There's not much to it. Every once in a while you'll swing your weapon. Almost every single weapon in this game is not directed or directed. It's one or the other. This is one of the few that is not directed. The skills have various skill tags. If you hover over it, you can show them. This skill in particular does about 140 damage at the base with a 1.1 second cooldown and has the skill types of swing, area, and physical. Later on, you'll be able to get synergies to power up any of those skill type synergies and empower all of the skills of that type.
Well, talking about powering up, I'm just collecting enough experience here to get 2 level ups in, and by pressing Q we can take a look here. So we always get 3 upgrades of different power, like they have the same power sometimes, but we actually got common, uncommon and rare here, which is fairly funny for the first upgrade. I just go with the rare here to increase our damage of our main skill. The level 3 always gives us an active skill, and here we can choose between Chaos Golem, Bloodlust and Subdue. While I just click Bloodlust here, Vyv can go over what the others would have done.
Chaos Golem is one of the few summons in the game. There is more coming, and there is many that we most likely will not be able to show today. However, it is very useful, especially in the beginning stages of the game for newer players. The other skill, Subdue, is another swing type skill that turns bleed stacks into fragility, if I remember correctly. There are certain skills that will apply bleeds. It's just a damage over time effect, and you can also get it via one of these synergies as well. And fragility just increases your damage, or increases the damage that any target takes, which is important for calculations.
Yeah, so I just killed an elite enemy, which gives plenty of experience, so we just jump right back into the level up screen. We will see this screen plenty today, so we won't explain everything we do here, but overall it's fairly self-explanatory. There's general stuff that just works for everything we have, like defenses or area for everything, and then there's specific stuff for specific skills, or stuff for a specific group of skills, like chaos or area or physical. For the third ability, what do we want, Vyv? What would be your pick here?
I would just go with whatever gives you the most synergies at this point, since you don't have any real choice here.
Sadly, all of these don't really fit in, so...
I think the Poison Bomb will have the most with area and physical.
That is likely, yes. The Poison Bomb
area and physical affect both.
The Poison Bomb just throws a projectile at random enemies. We cannot target this, so it's just somewhere it will leave a dot ground, well, on the ground. And yeah, it's damaging enemies over time and hitting them. Fairly good spell overall, great coverage.
So the Poison Bomb in particular is one of the few that will leave a area on the ground that consistently reapplies a status effect, with this one in particular being poison. If you walk an enemy over something multiple times, he will gain multiple stacks, as you can see on that elite there, gaining stacks from the poison bomb. It also applies one on the initial hit, as well as immediately applying another from the status effect on the ground. Extremely useful in later runs with higher curse score, which will be covered a little later. Ooh, 5 level ups.
Yeah,
oh, and
what I wanted to
just
show
at time.
too, very quickly, I just hovered over some things here. These little veins here, you can destroy them for resources, and as you're seeing, like, we want to explain that earlier, but kind of forgot. My cursor right now is really big, so we can show stuff. This is modifiable in the options, and you don't have to play with a gigantic cursor. We just thought it's very helpful for, like, explaining stuff and my poor eyesight. So, before we take on the boss, let's just quickly check out these here. This is a tough one. This is a very tough one because rare, powerful is pretty cool, 15% damage overall, but frequency on Bloodlust is very, very strong as well, because like Bloodlust has a very long cooldown and you kind of want it permanently. So we take the frequency here, and I'll just go with Quick Strike, I think. Or we just go with the bombs. We could go with the bombs.
I would go with Quick Strike or Shrapnel Bomb, yeah.
Yeah, we go with the bombs.
You will have another skill coming. So Merciless, the blue rare passive he picked on the left was a crit damage.
Yes.
Each tier just increases the amount you get. For all of... Ooh.
We just got our first legendary power-up. This is multi-cast for Thunderclap, which makes this skill to cast multiple times in a lot of occasions. But Vyv, there's something special about multicast. What is it?
Oh, it's not just the ability to cast twice. It's the ability to cast an infinite amount of times if you're lucky enough. There is a decay function for multicast. So 100% is equivalent to 1.0. It is the equivalent of one extra cast. However, the next multicast guaranteed is not at 200%. It is significantly higher. I believe somewhere around 250. Let me pull up the chart here.
I believe the decay is 1.4. I believe the base decay is 40% or something. Yeah, 0.4. Yeah. That's what I meant. So for the first cast with 100% multicast, it's just 2 casts. And after that, with a multiplier of 0.4, so 40% it decides to cast again. And after that, it takes the 40% times 0.4, so going down to like 15%, and probably casting again, and so on. So if you reach like crazy stakes of like 800% multicast, you're pretty much guaranteed to cast like 4 times. But yeah, that's just before the second boss is going to suffer. We are quickly taking a look at levels.
Crit chance is always wonderful to have.
Here we are back at Subdue, and I believe I just wanted here.
Do you have sources of bleed? Yes, you do.
Some, yeah. Oh, multicast frontal. So this one is for the tag frontal, and when you take a look at the bottom, the skills that are affected will highlight when I hover the multicast here. Relentless is very good. Attack speed just reduces the cooldown of all skills. Cooldown and attack speed in this game are interchangeably just the same.
Correct. Overall, it's just different terminology for the same statistic. Overall, the biggest thing to know is that 100% attack speed / cooldown does not equate to double, or it equates to double. However, getting to 300% is triple of your base, which equates to, I believe it's a 2.5 rather than 3.0.
I'm not sure.
It does have a decay similar to multicasting. I don't know how it works off the top of my head. Overall, it's just a multiplier to your base speed. With that said, multicast, it does range even at 4% over 100%. So if you have 104%, you are guaranteed one cast. You have a 4% chance of a second cast, and then it does decay further down to 0.06. So you do still have a chance of casting 3 times with even 104%.
Yes.
And it is possible to increase that through a system we will talk about later, and you will see it.
Yeah. It seems like we have gotten like a really strong build in our hands here, like way stronger than I expected for our first run.
Oh yes, this is very lucky actually. Your experience may vary with your first run. Not all will be equal. That is for sure.
Overall, this is like very strong. I just push in some level ups here to get more status effects in. Because all hits we do can do any status effect. We have the passive force, so all our hits can like have a chance to apply burning, or have a chance to apply frailty, venom, and so on and so on. So just stacking a lot of debuffs pretty much always is a decent idea, at least.
Yes, and anything that quote-unquote hits an enemy will apply another round of status effects, even if it's something like the puddle on the ground from the poison buff. The poison on the ground itself technically hits the enemies and will apply another round of status effects of all sorts from your passives, not just the passive poison on the skill.
Yes.
And another thing to note is your damage modifiers from Powerful Strikes or Leviathan, if you have the damage passives in the game, do affect your passives, such as Venomous Strikes and any of the other ones, really. They do increase the passive cards, the on-hit effects. And
let's see if I can get another level in here to show something quickly.
This is such a really strong run.
Yeah, I'm really overwhelmed by how strong we are. It's like I've done many test runs for on many occasions, and I don't think I ever had such a good run on a first character.
Well, that being said, I guess Alan, the lead developer of the game, I guess he may have been right about Thunderclap being strong. I guess we'll see in the after report.
It seems. But also, what I want to show here quickly is that we could always replace skills here. But overall, I'm so happy with our current setup that I will say skip active skills from now on. And we can always deactivate this, but for now we won't see active skills anymore.
So, and you can deactivate it in the middle of your run if you do decide to change a skill at some point. It is possible to change that. After this boss, could you do a favor and show them the escape menu? The charts on the side, the attributes there.
Oh,
this is something as well. We forgot to mention. It will be extremely useful, and you can access this while looking at card selections. So if you're unsure what your crit damage chance is, or your cast frequency, or anything like that, you can check and see on the side over there. It will be very useful in trying to plan out your runs a little better while still being at the whims of the mother RNG.
Yes. Also, what I'm showing at the bottom here, the skill modifiers show all to that skill type or skill specific changes, aside from general changes that apply to everything. So here we have an overview of what we are getting. But I just realized I lost a lot of health, so I really have to take some care here, so that we don't die accidentally. And maybe I find there a healing crystal, that one. That's what I was looking for here.
There will be ways to, shall I say, persevere through the waves as well once we get into the skill tree, which we should be able to do after this. I believe we have something a little further along. Wow. I'm still just genuinely surprised at how strong this has turned out to be for a first run.
I mean, it's
it does look
nearly
like
a sub 10 run. We're not going to get a sub 10 on the first run, but it's still insanely fast.
It will be a sub 12.
Yes.
That is for certain. Provided you can, you know, not die. Those elites are starting to get really tanky here.
Yes. The final boss also is going to be pretty chunky. And we don't really want to get hit with 50 HP there.
So with all the damage numbers on screen, it is possible to condense them down, which we will be doing at a point in the future here. And all the different colors are the damage types, with green being poison, white being physical, yellow being the crits. There is purple for Doom and Cursed. Rats. There is red for fire damage, and so on and so forth. So before you go through the blue, we are going to be taking the blue portal at this time. The other two portals we will be covering a little later in the video here. The portal on the right, which has an infinity sign going through the center of it, that is endless mode. And the portal on the left, the red portal, is overlord mode. There is a difference, and again, we will cover them later. However, for now, we are going to take the blue portal.
Okay, so let's take a look. Whirlwind was really good with 1.6 million. Poison Bomb was okay-ish. Thunderclap did a really good job at, well, demolishing everything. Subdue was kind of underwhelming, but
right.
It was the last skill we picked up, and yeah, let's take a look.
So this will show a lot more significantly at what actually was doing what. Here you can actually see Thunderclap was doing significantly more damage than anything else, even though the total damage or whatever was not as high as on the other screen. In the far left column, you can see it was doing 3.8 thousand damage per second, as opposed to Whirlwind at 2.5 thousand, even though Whirlwind has more damage effectively. It was just hitting so hard that they weren't surviving.
It was just killing enemies twice or thrice over, and that doesn't really do much. So the damage here is condensed to what damage actually has been applied to enemies. So on the right side, we see a lot of cool statistics for like fastest victory overall, fastest on map, fastest with character, with weapon, with current curse intensity, etc. It's like a lot of stuff you can beat, and that will be beaten at some point by someone. And yeah, these will sadly not be online letters, but there is ways to show like where you got your fastest run and such. But yeah, let's get into the next round in a second.
Right.
Welcome back. So after some farming, as you can see at the top here, and grinding to prestige level 12, we can now at the blacksmith unlock the tribal war axes. What's up with these weapons?
These, so the various weapons give you different modifiers. As you can see, these give, or the base ones don't give any bonuses. These do give bonuses, being crit damage modifier, armor power, cast frequency modifier, and negative to your movement speed. However, it will be a new attack. Rather than the spinning attack we had before, we have double slash, which will attack twice, right hand and left hand, each hand applying bleed, each stack dealing 100 damage over 10 seconds. And with it being a 1.4 second cooldown, that cooldown starts at the instant in time to begin the attack, not when it ends. So it is possible to get overlap going.
Yeah, so what we also want to do is like put some points into our skill tree here, because we'd like to deal a little bit more damage and also heal when we level up. This is a very good survival modifier. Also, I want to be a little bit faster and have more pickup range, because, well, I don't like to run so far to get anything. Also, we can increase our defenses. Oh wow, that was expensive by a little. And what else do we want? We might actually want to go for 1 reroll.
That should be fine.
Anything
I do think
else
you could
want?
put one more. I do think you could put one more into the shield up in the defense tree. That one right there. That will help significantly. That should be good for now. If you want to put something else in, by all means, go for it.
Yeah, honestly, I'll just use our stuff here. I don't really care where, because whenever we need something, we don't really have anything left. We could always reset the skill tree and get everything back, so just use up whatever you have here, and yeah, doesn't really matter, you always can get it back. So yeah,
And
oh, this one was this one was very important, I nearly forgot it. The additional dash is like really, really good. But yeah, we will see that in the game just in a second. Where do we want to start here?
You have your curses active at the moment.
Yeah, I've got some curses going, and yeah, do we want to do some curses or?
You could leave it on, I think.
Yeah, then
let's stick with map. Let's go with map 2.
Okay, sure. We go with map 2. With well, actually, we can put on some curse intensity here. What we could do is like take out some we don't like. But honestly, we might want to go for curse 3, and for that we need to activate all that we have, so let's just jump in and see how we're doing on curse 2.
Alright, so as I was saying before, as you can see, it attacks twice, and each one does have its own attack animation and hit. Moorhuhn, would you mind showing them the settings, actually?
Sure, so we can condense a little here.
Right, so the most important ones are going to be in general and graphics. With general, there is auto level up. So how before he was pressing Q in order to open up the skills, he wouldn't have to do that if you enabled this. This automatically opens up the skill level up menu every time you get that level up. And it is instant, in-game time pauses, nothing happens.
Yeah, this is very important for speedruns and stuff, where we just don't want to lose time on leveling up.
Right. Enemy health bars, elite enemy health bars, you can toggle separately for your own personal choices. In-game tooltips, such as when you're hovering over the abilities, you can turn them off. Damage numbers, like I said, you can condense them by turning the individual damage numbers off, which I think we will be doing here.
Yes.
Damage number colors will differentiate for each type of damage. Individual damage number specifically is for each individual hit, rather than it going from 10 to 30 to 70. Instead of adding, which is what it's going to do now, it was just displaying 10, 20, and 40.
Yeah. Well, key binding are pretty, well, we don't really have to talk much about it. Graphics has a very interesting one, which is special effect visibility. With this one, when the game is going very hectic at some point, you can like turn down the visibility of your own skills in favor of seeing the actual enemies. And yeah, we'll keep this up for now, but might do some adjustments there later on for different runs.
Right. There are some skills that can be a little difficult to see. And that is one of the great things about it, about the setting rather. You can tweak it on the fly. You don't have to be in a menu or anything. It is very handy.
Okay, let's see. Like, as you might have noticed, is like we're taking a lot less damage from the enemies here. Also, we do have a lot more life. Like, I could stand here right now and just take some hits. We don't lose like half of our HP here, and whenever we level up, we get some back.
Correct, and those are some very, very useful upgrades early on. He just took attack speed and thunderclap there.
Yeah, it's kind of a mimic to the last run so far.
I guess we'll explain. Yeah. We can. You mind explaining the curse icon, hovering over it?
Yes.
You may want to pause it.
Maybe, yeah. It's kind of covering my screen here.
The curse intensity, for each curse intensity you add, you're going to get bonuses after activating an entire tier. However, for each point you add, you're giving the enemies 5% more health, 1% more damage, 1% more attack speed, 1% more movement speed, and it looks like that's what,
20%?
5%?
Lord of the Void extra health is 20?
Yeah, 20%. Yeah, sorry, 20% Lord of the Void extra health. So it does make the game more difficult. But we're going to be coming back to this again later as well.
Yeah.
Oh. Those elites are chunky already.
Yeah, but Thunderclap is doing work.
That it is. I believe Thunderclap has a stun, correct?
Yes.
Yes, that is very important early on. I know not all skills can stun elites, and especially not all skills cannot stun bosses. There is some in particular that can, however, they are not on this character or this weapon. Not this weapon, but this character. Oh, that said, he just picked up Thunderstrike, which will randomly select a target anywhere on the screen and just, well, strike it with thunder. Lightning, I guess it would be.
Yeah, it has really good coverage, big AoE. Overall, it's just a pretty strong skill, which does also applies Dazed, which increases the critical strike chance on the enemy by quite a bit.
And Thunderclap will increase their chance to be crit, same as the other. However, will also make them take more crit damage. Oh, we got another thing to showcase here, the totems. Totems are another thing that we can use. Ooh, and an extra dash. You're up to 3.
Yeah,
as you can see below his character.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Sorry, didn't want to interrupt you.
No worries, no worries. Go ahead.
Okay, so below the character, you can see the icons for the dashes, and like all of these have their own cooldown, so I can more or less just spam all 3, or like use them in quick succession, or whenever I need them really, to dodge out of enemy attacks. And yeah, 3 dashes really make it a lot more comfortable to like move around bosses and such.
Yes, they definitely do. They also provide invincibility frames. I'm not quite sure exactly how much, but it's something that you can do. You can dodge through an enemy's attack rather than dodging out of it. It is a possibility. It is something that you will have to do at some point in the game. Unless you decide to be Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Which is quite fun. Looks like... Oh, another thing we didn't mention. When you pick up those crystals that the bosses drop, it does collect all of the experience all around the map, as well as any resources that may have dropped. And I believe that's it. Ooh, some fun stuff.
Yeah.
So he also picked up Throwing Axe here, which is a very strong ability. It doesn't do well in extremely high curse or extremely high endless or anything like that, but it is very fun. It is one of my favorites, and I do believe I got it nerfed quite a bit on the day it was released. It was a fun day.
Oh, the legendary multicast for everything we've got.
Yeah, that is something to make distinct as well. The multicast he just picked up, that does affect all skills rather than just a singular one. And the other... Ooh, wow.
I'm sorry, I'm fairly quick on selecting here right now.
Oh no, you're quite alright.
I'm so used to just clicking it through.
Yeah, like we said, we are speedrunners. We're pretty fast at going through our choices. We know roughly where we're at statistically by the time we even get to another choice. You get to that point after you've spent, what, like 400 hours on the game like we have?
Yeah.
I know I'm personally at almost 600 at this time.
Yeah, so the good part is, like, there's a lot of resources by now, and on the Discord, a lot of helpful people, like the community managers, like, who's that, Vyv?
Nomad! Nomad's wonderful. Love him. He's a great guy. Doesn't mind if you ping him. You got a question about the game, you can come in to the Discord, which is listed at the main menu, and we will point it out to you after this run. You can ping myself, you can ping any of the moderators for help if you need help. You can ping the community manager. Just try not to ping the devs. They are quite busy at this time. But you will see them talking in chat. They do participate and they do talk to us. They do enjoy us. Wonderful people, all of them.
Yes.
That said, there is plenty of information if you do need help. But you don't need to take it if you're not interested. The community is still a wonderful place to hang out. Absolutely wonderful. And you can also come chat with us there.
Yeah, also there every now and then are like competitions and, well, resource gatherings and stuff where the devs asked for ideas and stuff, so you can really participate in a great way in this community. And yeah, it's great, it's great.
Elaborating on that, every weekend currently they are doing events asking for ideas such as runes or specific character skills or new weapons, etc. Even new characters themselves. And they only run for the weekend, and then they're decided on. If your skill is chosen, there is a chance it will be put in the game and will be credited to you when they put in the in-game encyclopedia. That will happen if it is chosen and put in. So if you're interested in making your way in and getting your name in the game, that's a great way to do so. I know a few people personally who have their input been put in already, and I believe a couple of my choices, my suggestions have been chosen as well, and are in the game as well, such as Lava Shield.
Oh yeah, and we will later on do a run with a rune that I personally have created, so we will have some fun later on, but yeah, let's take a look at 15 level ups here.
Oh my lord! Hold on. Pause. Let's go over what that did real quick. Vicious Strikes.
Yes.
This is a very important rune. Sorry. This is a very, very strong skill that you can get. It gives you a 100% crit chance against any enemy that has 100% health. It essentially doubles the very first hit of every hit on an enemy. Extremely strong and extremely important for speedrunning. Not so much for long curse, high curse, high endless, but very strong. Do not overlook it.
Yeah. Also, Poisonous Blood
is
pretty nice because it like enables a chain of ailments. Like whenever you bleed, you have a chance to poison. And there is these little things for all kind of ailments, and you can really kick off some interesting chains of ailment.
That said, also, you do have quite a bit of bleed, and something important to note if you hover over the throwing axe, I believe. Yes, hemorrhage. Hemorrhage does count as bleed for all intents and purposes when calculating shifting from one damage type to another. They are considered bleeds.
I kind of want to put in Bloodlust, but I don't really know what I want to take out. Probably Thunderstrike, because we have Thunderclap.
Yeah, and you don't have any upgrades for it either, so that would work very well.
And then we'll take Venomous. Let's go with some upgrades here. Huh.
I think at this point you might be best off just skipping actives.
So just getting baited into using upgrades.
Right. So changing out your selections in the middle of run can be beneficial if you don't have what you're looking for. But if it's late in a run, it can be very, very detrimental because you're losing any upgrade specifics to that skill.
Yes.
If you have, for example, Thunderclap and you want to trade it out for Thunder Strike, but you have Thunderclap AoE, it will get rid of all those Thunderclap AoE passives unless you pick it up. So they'll be wasted skill points, essentially.
Though the general stuff that works, for example, for all swing skills will retroactively affect swings you put in later on.
Correct. And that being said, skill-specific tag upgrades are limited to only when you have 2 or more of that tag. So if you pick up one lightning skill, but you don't want lightning, you just want the area modifier on it, as long as you don't pick up another lightning skill, you won't get lightning up. Fire Shield was another one we could have shown off.
Oh, true,
and that's
but
a nice
Impending
reroll.
Doom is really, really good.
Yeah.
I just used my single reroll I have unlocked on this character to get rid of some choices I didn't want. And I don't like this laser at all.
The lasers are very terrifying in this game. You can take a lot of damage if you're not aware of them. As you can see, the damage numbers, as I said, we're going to be toning down in the future. You can pretty much see why. You can clutter up the screen quite a bit.
And it is fairly condensed already, yeah. But yeah, as you see, the boss has a lot more health than in our last run.
And this is only boss 4, there's still one more.
Yes.
That said, the damage numbers are so satisfying. Just...
Oh.
So, something to note, effect potency is essentially just increasing how effective your buffs are. Like Bloodlust, it's increasing the additional blank percent and blank percent. Right now, he's almost at full uptime, getting close. For Bloodlust in particular, he's increasing the attack speed and the movement speed modifiers.
Yeah. Also, Relentless, like normal attack
totems.
speed, does affect me also. Yeah. Nice. Now we can burn when... when we daze enemies, they get applied burn. And this will... Oh, actually, we don't have something for burn yet. Never mind.
Yeah, you're missing the in-between synergies for all of them.
Yeah.
But you are getting closer.
Yes. And all of these
another 100 enemies
synergies...
away from the final boss.
Yeah. And all of these synergies are rare tier upgrades, so they come up often enough.
You'll see them as long as you have status effects.
Yeah,
but
also later on...
Status effects aren't the only way to play either.
Yeah, also they later on are runes to boost the chance of getting them. And also you only get the synergies for ailments you can apply. So when you can't apply them, you won't get the synergy. Oh, Alexi.
Now, those can come from either the either your skills or passives. It doesn't have to be from one or the other, as long as you have some way to apply it.
Yes. Below the boss, you can
Which
see
can
the amount of stacks we have on the boss. And also, as a small side note for Alexi, which is fairly interesting, Alexi was the first boss that was put into the game. And it took quite a while to get others added, so we've played months, I'd say, where we just killed Alexi over and over and over and over, and probably a lot overs more.
Now, the best part is when you take into account the backstory behind Alexi.
Yes.
So Alexi was actually named Alexi because apparently Alan, the dev, was mad at Alex, one of the other devs, at a time. By the way, there's the Discord link there. Make sure you hop on in, come hang out with us. We would love to talk to some of you guys. But what I was saying is, he was mad at Alex the one day. It was quite funny because he ended up putting him in as one of the bosses so that players would beat up on him. It was quite amusing to hear the story of it. And we just beat up on Alex for like a month at the start of the game before it went to the early access. November?
I don't know anymore. It's been a while.
Yeah, it was November.
Yeah, I'm just digging through some upgrades, but yeah, we're back in a moment with a different character and some more stuff to show you. So, yeah. So, we just jumped right into a slightly different save here. As you can see, this is pretty level because this save is, well, prepared for a press save that, well, we have just some stuff to show you, and there's a big ass horse in the background, and we will go over why in just a second. But let's take a look at the skill tree first.
So in the skill tree, there's some more advanced things that we're going to have access to. And we're not going to put in the full skill tree just yet, because we do want to extend this out a little for you guys and show you the various levels of power we can get. There is any number of different things, as you can see, he's putting into between rerolls and banishes, which you can use on passives or skills. You can get anti-deaths, which he just picked up 2 of. Lock your skills so that you can pick them again later, the next level up, or even your passive cards if you get a nice one. You can also, at the top center, as you see, there's a 3 out of 5. This is your runic power, which we're going to explain right now. We have access to runes. We will go over some of the rest of them a little later on, but the ones we are currently using are Reroll Mastery. You gain 1 extra reroll every 5 levels. We are using Skill Mastery Shadow, 6 random active skill types of the type Shadow, so any skills that have the Shadow tag that we don't have access to on that character, we will now. And the Inclination for Shadow, because we want to give you guys real doom and gloom.
Well, also these rune sites, I'd call them, are tied to the characters, so when you pick a different character, then the runes will be preset for that character, and we can get back to, well, the big ass horse Death Knight and get the runes we just selected.
What was I gonna say? There was something important.
The second weapon.
Yeah, the second weapon. And yeah, no, the second, so in the unique skills here, you can see on the display there is the stats for the character. However, each character has unique skills, which can be accessed through those skill masteries that we showed you, the runes. They are available only to that character, but for all weapons.
Oh, can you get that blade out of my face, please?
Oh, I was gonna sneeze.
That said, let's just jump right into this. Which map do you feel fitting? Is it the Dungeon of Despair?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely the Dungeon of Despair.
What curse level do you feel is appropriate for this run?
I think we could just go in as is and just show them how strong you can get without any curses.
Without any? Actually,
yeah,
then I would put something interesting in here. Because I really like to do Unholy Reinforcement and Clone Army. Because it just says like, hey, there's a lot of elites in your game and you get a lot of levels. So I like to just take these out of every level we have access to. And
for sure.
Yeah, we don't. So we just get a lot of like elites. You can also put House of the Lords in, which increases the amount of bosses that spawn with each wave, so that's fairly, well, dangerous, and we don't do that yet, but we will showcase that later on. Maybe 2. I don't know, do we do that?
A few.
Maybe.
Maybe a few. Now, what we have here is the Unholy Aura. It is one of the few aura skills in the game at this time. It is not actually doing damage up front, because Doom as a feature applies a execute. When it is able to kill something, all of the stacks will do damage. If you don't apply more Doom within 5 seconds of the last application, it will detonate, and if it's not enough to kill, it'll just do damage. But it's very, very satisfying to just see everything die from full health.
Yeah, also for all the ailments, there is the lower tier and the upper tier ailments. So for example, for Doom, it is Cursed, which here we can showcase, but there's ways to upgrade the ailments in some ways. And Curse will, for example, do the damage in a, like, explosion. I believe. I think it is that.
Right, yes. Cursed will do 50% of its damage in an AoE around it. So if something has enough to die, it will do curse damage to every enemy with an AoE around them, as you can show there.
Yeah, here we go.
It accumulates more damage. Oh.
There we
You
go.
mind hovering over it for a second?
Yes.
So it leaves a permanent trap on the ground, which applies curse and does a flat amount of damage from curse up front. If curse accumulates more damage than the target has health, it executes the target instantly, as we said. But the kicker is whenever cursed enemies die, whenever curse does damage, it applies in an AoE.
Yeah, as you've just seen.
Holy levels! Holy levels! Yeah, that is beautiful.
Also, I want to banish Leviathan here.
Yes, that is very smart on the Death Knight, because the Death Knight has a feature that the others do not. The Death Knight, when you are running Death Knight, there is this very important thing you can no longer do. You can't dash. However, he does have immense body mass and is able to charge straight through the enemies, and they do not impede him almost at all. Enemies will get more body mass in Endless and Curse, or not Curse, Endless and Overlord, which will make it more difficult, but it is still a thing. As you can see, he just bowls straight through them.
Yeah, and as you see, there's a lot of elites here, which give plenty of experience. And yeah, at the top right you can see how many enemies we need to kill until the first boss spawns. And yeah, there's still some to go, so we get back and take up the Ray of Doom.
Oh, it's by and far one of my favorite things. Oh, you got Obscure Arrow. Wow.
Have I played this one yet? I believe I don't.
That is the Sentinel weapon for Weapon 3.
Oh.
So as I said before, it can give you skills that you don't have access to on this character, or skills that are belonging to another character's weapon.
Oh, it's through the Skill Mastery Shadow.
Correct. It is extremely useful if you're trying to do a very specific type of build, and it's very fun. As you can see, just purple everywhere.
Oh, I like Heartening Strike. This one is a little secret, but yeah, you can get this.
We won't tell you how to get it.
Specific measures, but yeah, you will have to figure that one out. I think about swapping something, but I'm fairly satisfied currently.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That being said, Heartrending Strike belongs to one of the secret achievements in the game. There is a few of them. We won't tell you how to get them. However, if you're struggling to find them on your own, feel free to check us out over in the Discord. We can give you hints, or if you just want the straight-up explanation, let us know, and you can feel free to send me a message in the Discord, and I'll explain it to you.
Let's say Shadow Grasp or Shadow Nova. I want to replace the Smoke Bomb.
So Shadow Grasp will pull enemies along with you, and it can be very dangerous. I would suggest not doing it, but seeing as we're only in Curse, 2, essentially, Shadow Grasp should be fine.
Ooh.
Yes, the Aura Tag.
Oh, we've got skeletons, but they said they don't fit into what we are doing here.
Correct. So, and that's one of the ones that we were... another one of the seasonal skills. It's another one of these secret skills that you can unlock.
I feel like I want to get him through some of our bombs here.
Yeah, you definitely want to deal with him before he starts spinning on you as well.
Yeah, this is Alfred. He has some very, very powerful skills, but overall all the bosses here do have powerful skills. There's just some that are certainly more dangerous than others.
And they're typically more dangerous for certain characters rather than all characters. Some characters deal with bosses easier than others overall. Some characters just have issues with certain bosses, but do significantly better at wave clear. This is one of those builds that isn't great at doing bosses, but can definitely do them.
Yeah, also the damage the boss is taking is a little misleading because of the 260 doom stacks here.
As you see, because he was just at half health and just died. So he is taking damage technically, it's just very delayed.
Oh, Shadow Bolt is so good, god damn. I'm not sure if I like the Void Trap here.
But you do already have some
Yeah, this is
modifiers
true.
for it.
And we have the Grasp. I don't think we need the Void. I'd replace
Yeah, especially
the Void.
since Void does block quite a significant amount of your screen.
Oh my god, Shadow Orb is so broken.
I think you just take Shadow Orb over the projectile, or over Shadow Bolt, honestly. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, Shadow...
Take it over the arrow. Take it over the arrow.
But the arrow's
The
so
arrow's
good.
great. The arrow's great, but her story is fun.
Okay, but after on the next level up, I will disable active skills, or we'll never have a finite setup.
So, Ray of Doom, if we can get lucky enough to get some multicast for it, is a little unique with as far as laser skills go at this time. Due to the nature of it, whenever you cast it again, it will add an extra 2 lasers and will redistribute it from 90-90 to, or 180 to 90s to whatever the next degree would be. I'm no mathematician here, let's be honest. But it will essentially add 2 lasers every time you multicast it.
Yes.
And if your attack speed / cooldown is high enough, it will add 2 to it temporarily, or however many times you cast it. Just adding so much Doom hits. That is another thing. The lasers do technically hit. Everything hits, essentially. Even the aura. It's not like a burn or a degen. It is a hit every so often. I believe the auras are does it say if it's 0.5 or 0.25 on there?
0.5.
0.5. Every 0.5, yeah. So every 0.5 seconds, it will apply another stack of all of his on-hit effect. Also, something to note.
I do, miss my dashes.
Yeah, the dashes are really useful.
Just can't get out of
You're gonna
certain
need
skills here.
Yeah, you need to pick up a little bit of movement speed.
Yes.
The slows are starting to hit with the spiders. Now, something to note as well, the enemies that you're seeing now are not the only enemies in the game. They are actively working on more enemy types, which you will see on map 3 when we go to map 3. There is a whole extra set of enemies. I believe we are doing that next. Let me see here. Yes, we are. So we will talk a little more about it then, but there is more enemy types, there is more visuals, and there's plenty more to be added. Every map is eventually going to have its own set of enemies, I believe. Vicious Strikes again. So, interesting thing about Vicious Strikes and the interactions with Doom, since we're not technically doing damage with all the skills right away, and it's all delayed, as long as we don't hit them with any direct damage, the Doom can crit.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
just,
or burn, yeah.
I'm just fishing for some bigger upgrades here because we have a lot of rerolls.
As you can see, there's the 4 lasers I was talking about. You can get a lot of those. Trust me. I believe the most I've ever gotten was enough to fill my screen lately with spinning lasers. His laser is so much more terrifying than ours.
Yes, it is. I mean, I could just take it for a second, but you've seen I just took like 20 damage for like looking at it slightly. Oh my god. These
Luckily,
snakes are
you
so
do still
dangerous.
have. Quite luckily, you do still have 2 anti-deaths, which you can see right there, death protections.
Oh my god.
If he does die, and he does bottom out to 0 health, it will pause time, or not pause time, but slow down time for about 2-3 seconds, and you will be put back to half health. which you might end up seeing, curse can get pretty difficult. Of course, there's ways to make it a little less difficult.
Yes. Also, as you say, different characters have different strengths, and the Death Knight is not certainly one of the most broken characters out there at the moment.
I do believe he is used in the high curse speedruns.
That's possible, yes, but most likely not with this build.
No, not this build whatsoever, no.
Oh my god, this is going to be very, very difficult. Alexis has some skills that are very dangerous when I cannot dash.
Oh, I can't look.
Like if this shockwave will hit us, we are done for good.
It's not even the shockwave; it's the bombs.
I mean, yeah, those
ones.
two.
They're absolutely horrifying. Alan actually told me once upon a time that those bombs were intended to be run-ending if you got stuck in them, and they are. They definitely are. You do not want to get hit by those. You will proc a death protection. Unless, of course, you're on no curse and you're maxed out. But they are very terrifying. If you see him, make sure to run once those bombs start flying.
Yep.
And there's one of the death protections right there. You can see the counter went down to 1. As we said, Alax's is one of the more dangerous ones.
Yeah, especially for not having... Oh my god, dashes!
I'm so glad it's not me that has to play this.
He is about to die soonish. We are at nearly 500 stacks.
Should be around 120,000, I think, roughly.
Yeah, something like that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully sooner. Because the next boss is coming up.
126,000.
Yeah, it was pretty well calculated there.
150. Yeah, this is gonna be rough.
I will have to get rid of damage number colors here, just to condense it a little more.
Yeah, the damage numbers can get a little overwhelming when you're using on hits. Ah, yes, multicast lasting. So the Ray of Doom is one of those that is considered lasting. I believe the Mine is as well. Yeah. I know the Aura is. Wow, you have quite a bit of lasting, actually. You might want to focus on... Oh, no, not Keith Eyes. No! Oh. You're gonna get lasered. I already know.
Yeah, this is, I believe, the strongest laser in the game currently.
That is the, aside from Alax's Chaos Bombs, that is the single most run-ending ability in the game. I have been hit by that so many times in high tier Endless or Overlord. It is brutal. You really have to focus on some of these bosses when they spawn in, or you risk losing your runs. There is a lot of things you have to take into account anytime you're doing high curse or endless. And it may take you a while to get used to it, but it is a lot of fun to fight some of these bosses. Oh, look at those lasers go.
Yeah. So, when we take down this bad boy in a moment, what are we up to? Endless or...
we still have one more to do before we go into Endless. However, our next one, we do have even higher curse to do.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
It sounds like fun. So, he did not die this time.
So, do we take the blue portal?
Yes, we are taking the blue portal once more. However, we are going to be using higher tier curse here. I believe we are switching up to the Arcane Weaver.
Which is interesting,
we are going
because
to use...
I personally have not used the third weapon yet, so this is a first for me as well.
Now, you can see in the description of the weapon there, the damage is multiplied by 3 on critical strikes. That is completely separate from your crit strike multiplier. So it will do the damage calculation for damage times crit strike multi, and then it will multiply that by a further times 3 after everything else.
Yes, for the runes, we shake up the setup a little. We take Generalist, which increases the damage by 5 for every different type of skill we have. We take
Which is the damage tags.
Which deals a lot of damage when the enemies don't have a lot of status effects. We take Weapon Expert, which is like, which lets us start with the secondary weapon in addition to the first. Like the skill of the weapon. Skill, exactly. The Dash Mastery, which makes us dash further, and the Multicast Mastery, which changes up the formula for multicast we explained earlier from 0.4 to 0.6, which is significant.
Yes, that is correct. It will take, for example, from a... we're looking at a... Let's scroll down a bit. At 600% multicast without the rune, you are guaranteed 3 casts with a 96% chance of a 4th, a 36.86% chance of a 5th, so on and so forth, cascading down. However, with the rune, at 600%, you will get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guaranteed casts with, where is it? 77% chance of a 6th, and then 36% chance of a 7th. So you will gain a significant amount of multicasting.
Yeah. Also about these damages here, the damage increases from the runes are multiplicative, which is fairly interesting for the math guys out there. Multiplicative damage is really good. So yeah, what map are we playing and what is the curse setup?
We are on, if I recall correctly, map 3. We're going to be going off the other enemies that we do have access to, and you can go as high on the curse as you feel comfortable with here.
I feel like we're going...
This will be the last time we use them.
I feel like we're going with a Curse 5. Curse 5 is the tier that we in the community say is manageable on most characters and still fairly difficult. 6 and 7 are brutal as yes.
Yes,
and
they are, however, doable on every character. Every character can, in fact, complete Curse 7. It has been done multiple times.
There's just some that are very difficult.
Trying. Yes, they're difficult. For those of you that like difficult games, this will give you difficulty if you want it, but you don't have to have it. As you can see, significantly higher damage, significantly higher health, and significantly higher boss health.
Well, and
one of the things he did not cover as well is
a lot more rewards.
Yes. There is also more bosses. You're getting 3 bosses every time bosses spawn. There's also pillars that will be spawning. Look at that. Those are your 2 skills for this weapon. These are 2 of the newer weapons. You may want to go to a different...
Oh, no. This was... No, my god. I don't want this guy here.
Not going to talk much about that.
Yeah, that one will be chasing us for a while.
So, he accidentally activated the current event that's going on, which was the Valentine's event. I don't believe it has been disabled just yet, but it will be disabled shortly. That's your hint to, you know, might want to complete it before it's more of a chance to get it.
Yeah, because disabled doesn't mean you can't get it anymore, but it is not guaranteed anymore. Because currently it is guaranteed on this map if you know how to trigger it, but you will find out.
And that being said, currently for us is March 13th. This may be played for quite a while afterwards, so if you heard what we just said, that's based on March 13th. If you do come in at a later date, there is still a chance to get it. You just have to play a few times and hope you get it.
Huh.
I believe Bloodlust is probably a good choice here.
Bloodlust always is a good choice. I just really like Arcane Disc.
Yeah, however, you will be able to get 2 of the other buffs in this run. Might and multicast, what is it? Arcane Power. which we're definitely going to want. Ooh, Leviathan. That's slightly terrifying.
Yeah, and I will get rid of the next one. I just couldn't resist the rare.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to take some movement speed now, that's all. Now, as you can tell as well, there is different music on this map. That is another thing that is being worked on. All of the different maps will have their own dynamic music tracks, which, if there's bosses alive, will change. As you can see, there's Might. Maps will have their own music. They'll be dynamic. If you're fighting bosses, they do get more intense. And let me just say, they are fantastic. And we can thank Gamma for those. Gamma is their sound engine. You do have a pillar up there. That is from one of the curses. It will throw spells at him from anywhere on the map. And you can see them off screen as well.
Yeah, up here we have a little sign that says, up there is a guy that wants to kill us, so we go up there and kill him first.
Yeah, that is another type of the pillars. Each one has its own spells that they cast at you, and you can prioritize the ones that you don't. Oh, that is just gorgeous to see. Ooh, Arcane Conjuration. I would trade out the
both
snowballs
are really
for the
good.
beam. Beam or the Conjuration. I would trade out the snowballs.
But I like the snowballs.
But so Avalanche is another one of those.
One sec. I will just put this down a little here and take out the damage numbers for this run, because we are at a pretty high curse level and I just want some clarity on the screen.
Yes, some of these skills he has are a little difficult to see. And this is one of the reasons we requested it so vehemently. And Alan, being the wonderful person he is, he listens. He does care about what we have to say. I think you should be at a point you can skip back to the skills.
Oh, yes.
That being said, I'm not going to make him mouse over it at this time because this is a very dangerous moment, but Arcane Power, the buff he picked up, gives him a global multicast chance modifier, which gives all of his other skills a chance to multicast. Multicast does not affect buffs, technically. It will cast it multiple times, however, it does not stack. It will just cast it again. That's all. During the next boss fight, could you pause it so we could showcase the difference in the music?
I just wanted to show that while we do have to fight 3 bosses, they do also all drop a boss crystal, which makes like resource gathering for the skill tree and such a lot smoother.
Yes, yes, it is wonderful.
Yes. Do we have this? No, I'd like to have like 1 touch of ice in.
There's that rare magnet is so. I can't say no to those personally.
Yeah.
Rare magnets are just extremely strong.
Just don't want to put in too many debuffs here, so that we still like profit from purity as good as possible.
Yeah. Ooh, and here we go with more bosses once again. So as you can see, it is a little quicker with certain curses enabled. You do also spend more time fighting the bosses, so it does seem like there's less downtime as well. And as you can see, certain skills are still being worked on and being optimized. They can cause a little bit of struggle on lower NPCs. This one in particular is just very intense when hitting a large group of enemies all at once. But it is vastly improved over the course of a month or so from when it first hit. Vastly improved. The devs are always on top of improvements for us, and we love to see it. More crit chance. How are you doing on crit chance so far?
My crit chance is at 51, which is fairly decent, but it could be higher.
Ah, yes, and you have dazed.
Yes.
Excuse me a moment.
Okay, so just pick up more attack speed and see what I can do here. Up there we have another totem we want to kill, and on the right side there's two more. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're still dealing good damage against them. Sometimes they are getting fairly tanky. Oh my god, there's... Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Look at all of those enemies. So, those enemies, like I said, each map's gonna have their own enemies, and each map's gonna be difficult in its own way.
Oh, burst is okay-ish here, but I believe... Oh, no, actually this is fine.
Is your Arcane Mastery full uptime yet?
Arcane Power nearly if Bloodlust is on, so we just need some more uptime on Bloodlust, and that will fix the Arcane Power as well. Because while Bloodlust does not fix itself, it does work for other auras.
Could you pause it for a moment?
Sure.
So, as you can hear, the music did go through a sudden change here due to the bosses. Feel free to take a moment and listen.
Oh my god.
Gamma has done such a wonderful job with the music in this game. I have to give him props. The dynamic music is just above and beyond what I expect from a game of this, of $10. Dynamic soundtracks? Like,
especially when, like, we are coming from a point where we were listening to the basic soundtrack all day, because there only was that one.
Right. Right. In the beginning, there was one. Now, there's many. And again, each map will get more. And I do believe they are improving them as well. If there's any sudden or jarring transitions, they will be smoothed over. 100% they will be. The development team for this game, they love this game. They're not making this game just for money. They're making this game because they love video games. And it is, by and far, one of the biggest reasons we support the community the way we do. They love this game. They love us, we love them. Oh no, Aelfred, go away.
Yeah, this
you got Aelfred and Keith Eyes. Oh, that's scary.
Dangerous. Like, if you get caught in the spin to win without dashes up, you are, well, you're done. No life points will save you there. But yeah, our damage is really good at this point. I was able to stack up some crit as well in the last upgrade, so we are at 71 now. Put some dazed on top of that, and we are at a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is something to note, though, is the dazed, each stack is applying 1% increased chance to crit.
I believe it's 2 even on the sacred.
Yeah, but I believe each one stack is 1.
Oh yeah, that is, yeah, oh yeah. True.
So whatever the dazed modifier above their head is, I do believe it applies 1%. So if you see 100 stacks of dazed on an enemy, you have 100% chance to crit. Even if you have no crit chance of your own. We're coming up on the final bosses here, and as you can see, different characters are definitely stronger at different things. Different builds can vary immensely in power, especially when you're using damage runes. So, you know, there is ways to make the game easier, I suppose it would be.
Well, I'd say
to make the game harder, actually.
there's a way to make the higher curse intensities manageable.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Going
I
in
just lost the
because
protection.
just like that, and yeah, just like that, everything can go up in flames. These final bosses are never joking around. Not in Curse.
34.
Yeah. Curse, like we said, Curse 5, manageable. For all characters, easily manageable, provided you use any kind of multiplicative damage rounds.
Yeah. Still
In fact,
not
better.
not easy.
No, definitely not easy. But, and that's a shame. This will be the final run we are entering the blue portal for.
Are you sure?
From here on out.
I mean, we could go for one. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
It's okay, convince me. So let's quickly take a look at. Holy damn! That's a lot of damage.
Yes.
I didn't expect the Sacred Orb to be so like sufficient. Holy macaroni.
Oh yes. Yeah, it is quite overwhelming.
Yeah, especially distribution retribution is very like overkill heavy. But yeah, overall
Right,
pretty good, pretty good.
They're definitely good skills. I haven't used them too much either myself. I did some testing with them. They're very strong.
Yeah, so well, let's jump more or less right into the next in a second. Okay, so we are back at a different save. This one is my personal save. This one is a bit more colorful, as you see, because the prestige levels have various like stages. With the Barbarian, my highest, and yeah, we are taking a look at the Sentinel with the base weapon actually, with a rune setup of Critical Mastery, Reroll Mastery, and the Singular Focus. This one of my personal favorites, not only because I did create this one, but yeah, this is something we wanted to show you. And what are we doing here? What do we want?
We are on, just one moment here. We are on map 4.
4.
Yes, indeed. We do not need to do any curses here because we are going to be going into Endless here.
Yeah, I
if you
just
want to
go
use some,
with my
you're fine. Yeah.
Clone Army and Reinforcement, my personal favorite setup.
For sure.
There was some wacky setups here for reasons we won't explain further, but you can find out at some point. Yeah, this is what I want to play. So let's take a look.
Right.
The Ranger starts with more dashes already. And yeah, well, there's some stuff going on this map that we won't elaborate further.
All I have to say on that matter is those rune circles on the ground are not always there. It may or may not have something to do with the winter event that came along last winter. If you want to know more, you're going to have to dive in and try it yourself and try to figure it out, or stop in the Discord and drop a message. We'll gladly help you out if you're struggling.
And for a personal anecdote, like this event, what we are not playing here, but you can play on this map, is like the most fun I've had on the game ever. Because it's just like tied to a very, very cool moment that, yeah, it's just very epic. But yeah, we'll focus on something else here, and that is speed and rerolls. Please give me not that. This is unlucky.
Oof, that's a shame.
Actually, I will restart this. We can try out a little here.
No worries, no worries. It does happen occasionally. We in the speedrunning community hit that restart button way more times than we ever want to. We have optimized the speedrunning so far. And we will be showcasing a speedrun for you guys as well, once again today. That will be our next run. And I believe the current world record for clearing any map at any percent curse category is under 4.5 minutes. I believe I saw one at 4:24. Actually double check on the speedrun.com, which we will be actively what's the word for it? It is active, I guess, is the intent of what I'm saying. The any curse category, the fastest submitted run is 4:21 by Treason. The second fastest submitted and approved is 4:24 by DVG _. And the fastest speed, or the third fastest speed run submitted and approved is mine, actually, at 4:35. And that was about a month ago. I do believe I've seen a couple that were faster, but it does not appear they've submitted them or been approved. I'm not sure. That being said, they do get broken pretty often. Ooh, you got Ricochet shot. That is beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And another one. Wow. So we are trying to get some more of these skills here. As you can see, he does have 2 of the skills. The way it works is if you get something that increases your ricochet shot damage, it will choose one of the 2 at random. It is not guaranteed to pick one or the other. And it doesn't affect both. It's just, it picks one. And it only upgrades one. However, if you upgrade your, say, projectile damage, or your... what are the tags it has?
Projectile, missile, lasting,
yeah.
Physical.
Yeah, so if you upgrade one of those, it will affect all of them. But if you upgrade a specific thing, like ricochet damage, it will only affect one. So synergies can get very, very strong, very, very fast.
Yes, especially because Storm of Arrows and Ricochet both have exactly the same, except for lasting on the Storm of Arrows, which Ricochet does not have. The same goes for Shoot, which we will keep in here for a while because of the fragility stacks, which is fairly good.
There's boss 1 down. Oh, you could turn on the auto level if you want at this point.
Yeah, still I'm not sure if I want more Storm of Arrows. Oh, actually, I should not have done that there.
Ricochet shot is a fine addition as well. I think replacing the final shoot with another Storm of Arrows would be... Oh,
actually, I will do this here. I want to banish something, which I completely forgot, but we will do so in a moment, when it pops up again.
Which one did you miss?
One that yeah, here it is. I will actually banish Expansive here. Because it doesn't do much for projectiles.
Oh, it definitely does. It makes the projectiles larger.
A little, yes, but with the spread we have, it doesn't really is necessary. And it can take, like, legendary slots, where I don't want to use a legendary...
it can only take epic on that. It can't take legendary, it can take epic, though.
Isn't there? Oh yeah, true. But still, I don't want that. Actually, what is interesting here that we can do this and reroll back into the actives.
Yes. If you go to the passives, you can view the passives and still have it. If you reroll, you will get to see the active skills.
Yeah, Vicious Strike here is really good. Especially on heavily front-loaded damage builds, Vicious Strikes will just like obliterate smaller enemies. Nice.
And it's another thing you'll see very commonly in speed running, especially. You won't see people taking defenses. You'll see them banishing them because defenses aren't going to help you speed things up.
Yeah, you'd rather restart a run than take defense.
Correct. And there's the last storm of arrows. Oh, you're not gonna...
I actually feel like getting rid of ricochet shots entirely.
Fair enough. There's another one.
And I just want to keep shoot for for the fragile. Because shoot always shoots like 3 projectiles that apply fragility each. And it's just very strong to like increase damage on bosses.
Oh, now that's a rarity right there.
Yeah. Well, you see the performance is suffering a little bit from Storm of Arrows. But
that being said, this rune is a make your dreams come true, but try not to crash your own game. It can get a little overwhelming with certain skills at times. Once again, they are actively working on performance as well as introducing new skills into the game. It's not just one or the other. When they can make improvements, they do. They definitely do. That being said, it is still an early access game at this point in time. Take it with a grain of salt. The performance issues are very minimal for most builds.
Yeah. Most builds are not looking like this.
No, most builds don't shoot out. I think each one shoots 100 arrows.
Yes.
And if it multicasts, it adds more. Yeah. So if he has 100% multicast chance, there's a chance he's shooting 300 arrows for each one of those skills. That's 1,200 arrows, and they travel a decent distance. Having to track those can cause a little bit of performance, but it is just so much fun. I mean, how could you say no to all those arrows? As you just see the wolf get thrown off screen by the arrows, not bad.
Yeah, also this is a fairly safe build because of the knockback.
Yeah, it's fairly amusing as well. There's some builds that vacuum the enemies up into one spot, like Void and the one skill you're using that had Cursed for the Death Knight earlier.
Yeah.
This one, though, complete and polar opposite. Everyone is just being thrown away from you. The closer they get, the harder they get thrown as well. And if you dash straight through bosses, they evaporate. As soon as it launched. There they go. It's wonderful.
Also something that is fairly noticeable here is that all these skills will go off at a different time, which will change soon. But more to that later. Something that I wanted to talk about also is that, which comes up in this run and will in the next run, is that we are more or less corner hugging here. Which means that we are in the general area of one corner, which lets enemies like spawn in a more narrow like path, more closer to us, which lets us kill them faster. This is like the most important technique for speedrunning, like, yeah, manipulating enemy spawns.
Yeah, it will definitely be much more important in the next run we do, which will be speedrun showcase. And it will be done in a much more severe way. You will see him standing in that corner completely. But it's not the most fun way of playing, so we don't want to try to tell you should do it. If you're interested in speedrunning, feel free to hit us up once again on the Discord. We're there, we're active anytime. If you ping one of us, we'll be there to talk to you about it. That being said, I don't advise you sit in the corner unless you're trying to speed.
Yes.
But if you are, it takes... How much difference does it make? I think it's like 4 to 5 minutes just by sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
And I do believe Alan is working on making it not possible for us to do as well.
Yeah, or to nerf it at least, because while being the best, it certainly, as you said, is not the most enjoyable, which comes first, always.
Yes. So this time we are going to be taking... Which one was it? We are taking the Endless Portal. We are going into the purple portal. The next playthrough, we will be entering the Overlord portal.
Yeah, and as you just seen, all my skills are more or less synced up now. Because aside from this one, all of them have, oh, actually we have, yeah, 3 have the same cooldown, 1 is a little off because of upgrades, and yeah.
And there's another one. Which one got it? Let's see. The same one.
Yes.
that's quite amusing. So the first one is now 40% faster. And I believe all of those are lasting as well, so
yes.
You did just get multicast. As you can see, very fun. Very, very fun.
Oh my god. But here
definitely the duration. Definitely the duration.
Lock it.
Yes, so this will bring the skill back, as you can see, the very next level up. Even if it goes into an active skill slot, you will still get it. And you can lock it multiple times in a row if something else does pop up. So one thing we did not go over as well is the Crit Strike Mastery rune, if you want to pause it for a second to explain it.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. 100% of your crit chance is added to your crit damage multiplier. So if you have 100% crit chance, it will be plus 100% crit damage. Right now he has 45. This does also take into account Dazed for the damage calculations. And very, very important, like I said, it can multi-crit. If you have 200%, if it rolls that you're going to crit twice, it deals twice as much damage. Rolls it's going to crit 3 times, it does 3 hits worth of damage. Including the bonus crit chance from negative effects. Like I said, Dazed, Disoriented, it does include that. Very strong, especially since the crit chance does get added to your damage. I believe it is capped out, soft cap at 300%. I'm not sure if it's a soft or hard cap personally, but it is a multiplicative to your damage, just like all the others. So in essence, you can get up to 300% damage from one rune. Very strong. Oh, wow.
Yeah, we are dealing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Oh, we actually have perfect uptime here, so I will stop picking up upgrades
Fantastic.
for that.
I guess you have something to use the last of your banishes on now.
Yes. And we can reroll for some bigger upgrades here.
My chair's hydraulic has decided to give out right now. I keep drifting down slowly. Quite unfortunate. I'm gonna have to get a new chair in the near future, or at least a new hydraulic. It's quite amusing to just slowly elevate her down.
Yeah, I feel that.
Luckily, it hasn't been happening non-stop. That crit damage is starting to stack up nice.
Yeah, we are at like 365. And
believe,
the crit chance is not included into that, I believe.
Correct. It is calculated afterwards. So the statistics sheet only shows what you have from your character and the passives and actives that you pick up. Nothing else. So it will include the Bloodlust effect from your buffs, but it will that crit chance. Ooh. It will include the buff actives, but it will not include your the runes. It will not include the runes. Runes are calculated separately.
Well, the second boss is about to come up. Endless takes a little more time because the enemies are getting more tanky.
Which does multiply with the curse. I do believe it's multiplicative with curse.
I don't know,
and
but
after the boss you can show it. As you can see, they're all getting plus 100% on a lot of things. Plus 100 on armor, which armor works a little nifty if you want to pause it and show that.
Sure.
Armor reduces all damage you take. It is a what's the word for it? The more of it you get, the less effective it is.
Yeah.
Same goes with block power, but damage reduction is a flat amount. If you ever have any questions about what an attribute does, if you hover over it in the escape menu like that, it will give you a description. Very handy tool for you.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Oh. Oh. Oh, my lord.
That's very, very good.
You just see pure waves of arrows at this point.
Yeah, our attack speed really is getting better here. Also, Bloodlust is at permanent uptime, so yeah. Down here you can see that we've got 3 times the epic attack speed. It just stacks up the number here, like 8 times fragility.
I'm sinking again. Oh, this chair. I'm just gonna sit on my leg.
Oh, nice.
I'm vanishing below my desks very slowly here. Now, me personally, I never really play with movement speed or health like he's taking. I really enjoy just glass cannon. If they're all dead, they can't hit you anyways, right?
Yeah, it's true. Usually
But,
you still, for long endless runs, you want some defenses.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
we are not going into a long endless run here, we just want to show the general mechanic. We won't do more than 1 level here, because this is a build that could get us verified. It just pick a useless area. I mean, we can take it. It's okay.
It is what it is at this point. What is it, lasting area of effect?
Yes.
I mean, it does make each one of those projectiles slightly larger.
Yes.
And I do believe Storm of Arrows penetrates. Yes, it does. So it will have a chance, or each one will hit more enemies. There is something to talk about with that there. Projectiles that penetrate an enemy, they will continue going. They will deal damage only to what they hit. However, projectiles that do not penetrate will deal damage in an area around, not just the enemy it hits. Almost all projectiles have sort of a lollipop effect, so to speak, where it will have the projectile, if it gets hit, it'll deal damage in around it. I guess it would be more like that, but, you know, potatoes. Adjust my camera a little bit. I'm sinking so far. Ugh.
Let's see, the second last boss is coming up and vanishing the same moment, more or less.
What boss? So,
The only
as you
boss
can see,
I am seeing is in the middle of the screen.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. As you can see, there is some very strong things you can do with this rune. However, when it comes down to it, it's still less damage than some other builds in particular. But we're getting into min-maxing there. This build is super strong and extremely fun. And that's kind of what the rune is here for. It's for you to have fun, and if you want 5 Bloodlusts and 1 Storm of Arrows, you can do that. And that's the important part.
Also,
we can do what is fun for us.
Yeah, also it does take up a lot of rune slots. So you can't, like, just pick all the runes.
Right, and for all we know, we might see more runic power added in some way in the future. We don't know yet. The runes are still very much being expanded upon. I believe we are only about halfway through the runes being added. A lot of the ones that you see on there are going to be condensed. All the different damage type runes that give you certain skills, skill inclination, skill mastery. those are all considered to be only 3 runes overall. It's just a broad category that you have to cover a lot of different types of. That being said, look forward to plenty of really fun runes in the future.
Yeah, we just got a level. So you can see, Storm of Arrows did deal a lot of damage. Here they just condense all of these Storm of Arrows into one Storm of Arrow.
And as you can see, the numbers can get quite small if you add more. I've seen them get quite a bit smaller than that even.
Yeah, I've seen
quadrillion a couple times.
Yeah. They sometimes
you
just
can get
add
to the
another row.
Yeah. When you get to quadrillions, it gets quite small. But it is possible. So what we have here is Elementalist. We are going to be running Multicast Mastery, Critical Mastery. We are going to use Purity. We are going to use Focus Fire, and we are going to use Generalist. This is one of the top, if not the top, current build for speedrunning. This can get times easily under 5 minutes, but it requires you to have most, if not all, of the game unlocked already. It requires you to have, as you can see, he's missing 1. A 1 achievement, which is not much. He just needs to farm. Yeah, just needs to farm a little bit. But you need to have most, if not all, of the game unlocked to be able to achieve the times we are currently at. But it can very, very easily get a sub 5 minute run. Well, maybe not very easily. For us, it's a more consistent thing. That being said, you definitely don't want any curses on for speedrunning. Before you start,
yes,
we may be restarting a few times here, so we will be back once we have a viable start going, and we will see you then.
Yeah. Overall, speedrunning comes down to like really sitting in the corner, hitting the enemies, letting the skill do whatever it is doing. Just like ricocheting off the enemies and deleting them for now.
One of the things that I personally have done to assist in this, because the projectile can miss enemies, if you just target the wall instead of the enemies themselves, it will bounce off the wall and hit an enemy instead. And since it's based on distance traveled rather than enemies hit, you'll immediately ricochet it to an enemy as long as there's one nearby.
This is a reroll here.
Yep.
Thunderstrike is fine, but not perfect.
Here, let me pull up the optimal things to use here for you. I have it all written down.
We want the elves. We want some more projectiles, I believe.
Going pure ice build is pretty much the method that I've been using with
Arcane power?
Yeah. Yes, arcane power with pure ice.
I haven't been speedrunning in a few weeks, so I'm not confident on the current perfect meta.
As long as you get the boss, the first boss by 155, you should be able to get a decently competitive time. My personal best for spawning in the first boss is actually not even used in the record. My personal record for spawning a first boss is 137, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is coming up in a few seconds, and you're still over 100 enemies short. So the times vary immensely at the starts, based on how lucky you get.
Yeah. Depends how many enemies spawn and such.
And if you get lucky, freezing blow is yes, it is very strong. So now you're not going to want to aim at enemies. You're going to want to aim at enemies rather than walls. Expansive is good. You do want to banish all of the behemoth, etc. When it.
I was about to say, I want to banish that.
You're going to be banishing all defenses. You're going to want to pick up a rare movement speed if you see one. Crossbolt is going to be one of your boss killing utilities.
There
like Resilient here,
go.
but we have other things to choose from. Multicast Ice is a must-take.
Do you want
Blizzard, I would avoid. No, I would avoid it.
I was about to say. I mean, we can take Chain Lightning for now.
I would take another reroll personally.
Oh, Avalanche.
Avalanche is doable. Frozen Warhammer, not so much. The Light Beam is going to be too short range.
Yeah, we go with Avalanche and...
definitely. Oh.
This is a tough call, but we'll go with this for now. Just want to up my general damage for the moment to just get through the waves quicker.
Right. Typically, in a speedrun, you will actually be looking for a very specific passive, the Vicious Strikes, and I've spent hours re-rolling to get perfect runs to be competitive with my times. You could not get a single competitive run in a couple days if you're unlucky. And even then, to improve on any of the times in the top 3, you're going to be spending a couple days trying at minimum. But there it is.
Oh, summon elves instead of
yes, better, definitely strong. Ballista totems would be another option rather than avalanche. It is currently used in the speedruns. At this point, though, you're pretty much not going to want to leave the corner at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frontal would have also been, or probably would have actually been a significantly better choice there if you would have locked it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the lock. That was my bad.
Yeah. Frontal is almost every skill he has at this point. Yeah, you could definitely skip active at this point as well. You're pretty much going to want to take Relentless every chance you see it.
Yeah, because we want to get like so much damage that the only limiting factor is hitting the enemies fast enough.
Right, and if crit chance or crit damage appears at this point, and there's no other damage to choose from or attack speed, you're going to want to take that. Because crit chance once again gets converted to crit damage because we have crit mastery. Boss is spawning in about another 3-4 seconds here, and as soon as the boss dies, we'll be able to get all the experiences out on the field. There we go. 6 level ups.
Yeah, I want one more frequency.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely the frequency. Frequency is going to be the biggest thing, more so than damage, because you already have enough damage to do, or because you have Vicious Strikes. You have a ton of damage. You're still going to want to pick up damage, but cast frequency is one of the biggest factors in a speedrun, because the faster you kill enemies, faster more enemies can spawn, eventually. If the enemies are all dead, the game has to give you. It's the only limiting factor is how fast you can kill them. Now, once again, there is a speedrun.com where all these times, for all these various runs that people are submitting, it is active. Make sure to check it out if you're interested in the speedrunning portion of this game. We would love to have more people to compete with. And if you are interested in getting started, feel free to hit me up on Discord. I am available 7 days a week. You just have to get in touch. Looks like you're gonna have a not a sub 5. Well, no, you are. You have a sub 5.
What I said? This is a sub 5. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I misread that as 23, not 24. As you
That's
can see,
not
like
an
I said,
insane run,
5.
but still a very good run for first take. No rerolls, no anything, and we take it one step further here.
What is that? 452. That actually places him in 5th place. So that is a 5th place run.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Or at least submitted.
Yes.
I don't know what your personal best is.
I don't know.
Because you haven't
Honestly,
submitted
don't know.
one. but every second that you take off at that point, you are fighting for it.
Yes. It was a very good run already.
Pretty much every run that I don't re-roll will end up under a sub 5 at this point, from how much I've spent doing it. If it's not going to be sub 5, I know by the time I get the second boss to spawn. I know how a run's going to perform within the first minute, essentially. Or 2 minutes, roughly. If I have all the boss spawn times pretty much down pat. However, we are now in Overlord mode. Overlord mode is a little different from Endless. And we don't need to be corner hugging anymore if you don't want to as well.
Also, just want to do it quickly.
So, yeah, no worries. So Overlord is a little different from Endless in that just like there is Curse to increase how many bosses spawn, Overlord will do the same. For Overlord 1, you get one extra boss. For Overlord 5, you get 5 extra. For Overlord 10, you get 10 extra. However, each boss, or there can only be 5 bosses active at a time. After the 5th one is active, they are just kind of stored in limbo until you kill one, and then another one will spawn. But you do have to kill 1 extra boss for each, or technically 5 extra bosses for each Overlord you enter. 1 extra in each wave. That being said, it can be very difficult, but it's very rewarding because, as you can see, you actually need less enemies per wave. So you will be able to very quickly run through it. I personally like to call it a boss rush mode,
yes,
as opposed to an endless mode, because that's essentially what it is.
You will reach the point where you spawn the next boss after killing like 10 enemies.
I believe it is 40 for the first one.
Yeah, I mean, is it the lowest?
Yeah, I believe 40 is the lower limit.
Okay, but it's like very quick later on.
Very minimal. Very minimal. I think you need 400 total at the end.
And there are videos out there on different YouTubes, mine included, where we spawned like 100 bosses at once. Which was on the old mode though, but yeah, it's still pretty damn fun. Yeah,
back before it was changed how it worked for performance reasons, because I mean, obviously spawning and dealing damage to 100 plus enemies or 100 plus bosses at a time, which would very easily survive through whatever damage you're dealing. Back then, you could spawn so many that the game would lock up, and like I said, it wasn't fun, but man, I have gotten, I think, 180 prestige levels from a single game on that mode.
Yeah, it's insane.
I went from 0 prestige on the Assassin, which, by the way, is really fun character if you like more mechanically skilled characters. He has a backstab mechanic. Yeah, or you use the smoke bomb. He has a backstab mechanic on a lot of his abilities. Really fun. It's just a damage multiplier on top of a damage multiplier on top of a damage multiplier. It is insane. And it will delete anything. Trust me. Anything. And he does also get an extra dash, which is really nice. That's also another thing to bring up. Dashes are limited to 1 from your skill tree, 2 from in-game cards, and however many your character has built in. So, for example, the Sentinel and the Assassin can get a max of 5. Every other character can only get 4. At this time. Yeah.
We're talking about dashes, yeah.
This game is notorious, in my opinion, for giving you what you're talking about when you're talking about it.
It's insane.
Or it's either it gives it to you, or it will never give it. But I frequently get what I'm talking about. Ask and you shall receive. How's your duration doing?
Way overboard. I just used to click duration.
A little bit. Yeah, no word. Wow. So another thing to note,
what?
his little summon, or his little elves there, they are a summon. His aura that's giving them multicast, or giving him multicast, is also affecting them. However, his multiplicative runes do not affect those. There is only one rune at this time that does affect them. I'm not sure how that's being reworked off the top of my head, but I do know they are receiving a rework at some point in the near future.
Yeah, one quick note. The last bosses now will spawn at 2080 instead of 2600 on the first wave, like on the first cycle.
Right, and we can go in, or we can start the next wave of. We can go in a little deeper. We can go in a little deeper if you'd like to show them a little more.
Yeah, we show like the first wave, but we will conclude this soon because we're going for quite a while, and yeah.
Lunch sounds pretty fantastic at the moment, actually. As you can see, 240 instead of 400, and you'll see in a moment it's going to spawn 3 bosses, not just 2.
Yeah, we'll take down the first wave of bosses. I'd say I just let them kill me, but I doubt that's possible, so... Yeah.
Yeah, you get pretty strong. It can be pretty hard to die early on.
For a while,
but
yeah.
As you can show them again, the multipliers do get much worse each time you go deeper. So for this, it's more additive than anything. At high tiers of Overlord, it does start scaling. It is progressive on a curve. The higher you go, the exponentially worse it gets. Endless is the same way, but the curve is a little sooner. And because there's only one boss to deal with at a time. As you can see, like I said, he can't really die.
Yeah, but on that note,
that being said,
we will surrender here. Take a look at the damage. Super cooled again. Very, very strong. I just want to say, I think we concluded here. Thanks for watching. Take a look at the Discord. Support the devs. They very much deserve it. And yeah. Do you have any words to finish it off, Vyv?
Yes, of course. Much more importantly, thank you all for helping out and watching, and I hope you enjoy this game as much as we have. Feel free, once again, to contact us on Discord if you're interested in something that we talked about here today. I am always available. Just send me a ping on the Discord. Once again, I'm Vyv. He's Moorhuhn. Glad to have had you around. Have a wonderful day.
And thanks for watching.